I've heard that life is what you make it. I say make room to grow. I'm your host, LaWanda Dockery, and this is the Make Room to Grow podcast. It all started with a dream about growing food, and who would ever imagine that growing food would lead to me learning about personal growth and development? Well, it did, and I want to bring you along for this beautiful ride. Thank you so much for joining me. Hello, Grow Nation. I hope this finds you well and looking forward to another weekend of getting out in the garden. We have a rule that I learned when I first came back into the knowledge of Christ and really learned about kingdom. And the number one rule is it's not about you. So now the reality of us serving a huge, infinitely wise God and the fact that the world does not revolve around us might be shocking in this day and age, but it doesn't revolve around us. We are just tiny little characters in God's grand story that He allows us to play a part in. And so it's not about us. We are to be and do, and He is to work through us in whichever capacity He chooses. And so we are like clay in the master's hand, as the scripture alludes to. What does this have to do with gardening? So everyone, if you've been following me on Instagram, I've been obsessed with the okra. And I've been obsessed with the okra blooms. To me, these blooms are beautiful. They are a pale yellow and a really deep fuchsia center. And just at the base of the stem, it's also fuchsia. Beautiful blooms. So for the past 2 weeks, I've been seeing the blooms come out and they'll peek through the green and like pretend to come out. But next thing you know, they'll close up. And they fall off, and yeah, I get an okra, but I'm like, I want to see this bloom. Finally, yesterday, it peaked out maybe 75%. And I was like, this is so beautiful. Finally, I get to see it, because if you don't catch it early in the morning, it's just not going to hang around all day. There's a function to it. It's not about me. Here I am. I'm like, I'm about to get a pair of scissors and finish opening up the bloom. But I'm like, that's way too much. God made this for a purpose. And if I catch a full bloom, I catch a full bloom, but it's not about me. Here I am like, oh, I want some eye candy, but it's not about me. There's a purpose for everything under the sun. And God did not have to consult with you when He created it. How dare I think that I'm in control? And this is a major benefit of gardening. It adds to our character. It teaches us to have self-control. It teaches us to have patience. It teaches us that we are not the ones in charge. We can plant something, but it's up to God to add the increase. And I say all this because there are so many more attributes to gardening than meets the eye. You can think that, yes, I'm just trying to grow some extra food, but there's so much more to it. There's like character development going on when I'm out there in this garden. And even in the professional world, I'll share with you that yesterday I had the privilege of attending a managerial meeting. There were older managers mentoring new managers that are coming up. And one of the things that came out was that for a manager, it's not about you. You can't be the star of the show. It's your job to build other superstars. That your work and your success is contingent upon other people thriving and other people succeeding. And I'm like, wow, that's such a kingdom principle. You know, it's so many keys that we can get from the kingdom that can add to our character and add to our personal development. And I thought I'd share that with you. These things I'm learning out here, I can use them in other avenues, but it's not about you. God did not have to get your permission when He did any of the creating that He did. Until next time, I want you to be intentional about those areas in your life where you are going to make room to grow.